Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to another patch notes, bitch. We're back. Listen, today is the Monster Hunter Wilds episode. I'm gonna let you know up front. That's what we're gonna be talking about the whole episode. It's got the final update until the major expansion later on 2027. However, let's give you the rundown. First video, Monster Hunter Wilds in 2026. What can we look forward to? What is the state of the game right now? Is it worth jumping into with all the launch issues? Next, what your Monster Hunter Wilds weapon says about you. Yes, we are talking shit. We're talking all the shit. And then after we're done talking shit, I'm giving you my personal takes on every single monster in Monster Hunter Wilds in a tier list. And then to finalize the video, to end the video, we're going to be talking about I'm done apologizing for enjoying Wilds. All the controversy surrounding Monster Hunter Wilds. Is it okay to like the game in good old 2026? Let's find out. So, without further ado, let's get this music turned down, and then we are going to jump into the vidya.
Year you've likely heard negative sentiment around Monster Hunter Wilds. In this past year you've likely heard negative sentiment around Monster Hunter Wilds. And
True.
while some of it was blown out of proportion, a lot of it was also justified. But right now is the best time for you to jump into or return to the game, and I'll walk you through as to why this is. And to make it abundantly clear, this video
Let's hear
is
it.
not sponsored or affiliated.
To be fair, I do want to make sure everybody knows your boy's been playing Wilds. All right, I've been farming the shit out of old Goggy Boy. All right, I'm building up my collection of the Goggonized. That's what I'm going to call it. Goggonized Ardian weapons. Yes, so good.
With Capcom in any way, shape or form. I'm just an average bloke giving his 2 cents. So
Which, to be fair, I do know it's kind of a hot take. Well, not really a hot take, but it's like a controversial thing on like the RTN system. Like some people like it, some people don't.
why does Monster Hunter Wilds have such a bad?
I do think that they need to do a balance patch and give regular weapons a boost so they can still be somewhat competitive to RTN weapons. Because having this one class of weapon that is just 10 times better than anything else is just kind of what the fuck, you know? So it would be nice to have like even if they did like a reinforcement for regular monster weapons to bring them up to that level. I think that would be ideal.
Wrap, and where are we now? Well, the major thing, and honestly it's the tale of recent times, is performance. Now, regular viewers of the channel and
True.
active players are probably sick to death of hearing this, but if you're new looking to get into the game for the first time, or played it at launch and stopped, this might be of interest to you. So since we were in the Monster Hunter beta, Wilds has had a lot of performance issues primarily lying within PC. As far as I'm aware, consoles have had a much better experience along this route. Now during the
True.
beta we had a margin of error that we
They did openly say that they rushed out the PC version so they could get those marginal numbers for the um fucking investors or whatever the fuck, so they could meet their quota for that quarter or whatever. But at the same time, I think honestly people would have been okay with it if they were to like instead of like releasing skins and microtransactions right away, if they would have released patches right away as soon as possible to fix those issues, then I think that would have been better. That would have taken the sourness out of a lot of people's mouths because the state of play is a lot better than it was. I'm a PC player, so I was there and I have fucking listen, I got top of the line shit, all right? I'm not going to fucking lie to you. I got a nice rig, right? So I did not feel these effects to like somebody who's got a fucking Intel fucking i5 or a Ryzen 5 or something like that, and they're trying to run this fucking game, and it is just melting their PC trying to fucking even fucking launch the fucking thing, which didn't work half the time. So it was a fucking big problem. Now the state of play is a lot better now than it was, but it's still far from perfect. Even for me, like in the final cutscene, when with the Gog Mazios little story and stuff, everybody had PlayStation 2 graphics. It was like PlayStation, not even PlayStation 2, honestly. It's probably like PlayStation 1 graphics where everybody just lost all the 4K pixels. It was bad. And now it was for me it was more like a flicker, but I imagine somebody who's got like mid-tier hardware, that was probably their entire experience of that cutscene. Like that's bad. It's fucking terrible. So I do think that, they still have a long way to go. And they have a period now while they're working on the expansion to issue out those patches, those fixes, and get the game properly optimized so when the expansion comes out, it isn't a fucking dumpster fire.
Would allow Capcom to make with performance. After all, it was just the beta. From everything reviewers were saying and all available sources of information, it was looking like the launch version of Monster Hunter Wilds was going to be much better. However, despite this, the performance on launch day for many people was even worse than the beta.
Yep.
It's very unfortunate,
It was really
however
bad.
it's also quite common in recent times. Games tend to release in somewhat of rough shape, but at least the developers tend to fix it in ample time. But in this case, month 1 rolled by, still very much so the same issues. Month 2, no fixes. Month 3, you get the point. Now during this time Capcom were making efforts to address it and pretty much every patch had an optimization within it, yet for many of the PC players the core issue wasn't solved and it's likely to do with the engine the game is built on. However, especially within the past few months, the recent optimization patches for performance have seen very
Listen, I've been very vocal about this. I hate this collaboration. I hate it so much. I think it was probably worst case scenario collaboration. I'm gonna be dead ass. Worst case scenario collaboration. When it came to the Final Fantasy franchise, there's 15 better options than this. It felt so surface level fucking money grab bullshit to me.
positive increments in frame rate. For many players, the game is now in a much more stable state, and I can confidently say, as someone who engages with the community on a regular basis, I've noticed a lot less people are sharing that this is still an issue with the game. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, it definitely still is present, but we've also been promised within the next.
This is exactly what I said. This is exactly what I said. They now have a period where they're not trying to push out content to where they can get proper fixes implemented to the game, optimize the game so it could run good on mid-tier hardware, and then we're good. Because this is really just a PC issue. So they can isolate a certain amount of their team to fucking work on this PC issue while the console updates are still, rolling out like usual. Maybe they get a little optimization here and there. Um, but yeah, this is mainly a big PC issue, but that's also your biggest market. So you have to fucking get the game in proper order before this expansion comes out. Because if you're expecting all these players to come back, then I mean, fucking, it dropped down to numbers that are on par with Monster Hunter World. Do you know how long Monster Hunter World has been out? Like, that's bad.
Coming months in early 2026 that there will be further optimization. So chances are, if you have a decent rig capable of running modern games, you shouldn't have too many issues with Wilds at this point.
Right, which is literally like I've been saying. This is anything from like mid tier up. If you have a low tier rig, you're not running modern games. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. And if you are, you're running it on like the lowest of low settings.
And even if you are one of the few people that still do suffer, within the coming months, this should hopefully be gone. But in the case of Wilds, it wasn't just performance that let the game down at launch. Now this is something I can attest to personally as someone who never had these frame rate issues, yet still started to slip down the slope of negativity. One of the core issues we suffered was the endgame content loop. Your time in the endgame is most valuable when it comes to Monster Hunter. You'll tend to get here in around 10 hours of playtime, and it's where you'll be for the next couple hundred. After all, the main attraction and pull of Monster Hunter is taking down these big boss-like enemies, taking their components to then go make new equipment. There's all these different weapons that completely offer a different change of playstyle, and every single hunt tends to feel dynamic from one to the other based on all sorts of different environmental factors. In the case of this game, however, we entered what was known as the Arkveld cycle. Now, out of the whole roster of Monster Hunter Wilds, originally there was pretty much around 4 monsters specifically that you would.
You know what's crazy about this? In a previous Monster Hunter video, I said that this is the biggest problem with Monster Hunter Wilds at the moment was there was nothing for endgame. There's no Rarity 8 armors aside from Arkveld at that time. There was no Zoshia out yet. The only other fucking big boss that you could fight was fucking Ray Dow, and he didn't have a fucking Rarity 8 armor. So now he does, oddly enough. So look who was fucking right, you goddamn pussies. I was fucking right this whole goddamn time, and they knew it. They knew it. Capcom knew it. So I just want to say I was right about that. I'm collecting that W off of your fucking heads, you goddamn idiots. I was right. You were wrong. Suck my dick. Suck my fucking schnapps, bruv. Absolutely not, dude. I was in flames for that. People were saying that I was expecting too much from the game, and I was like giving I was being way too like what were they saying? I was being like way too like overly critical and shit because of this one factor, and I was like, no. If you expect to keep your players engaged in the game, you have to have a reason for them to stay there. And guess what they did? They added rarity 8s for several of the fucking monsters by adding the arc tempered versions in. And then they also added a reinforcement system to bring your rarity 7s and 6s up to a class of which you could use them in a rarity 8 level fight. Suck my dick. I was right. I was 100% correct.
Go and fight, and that's because they offered more rewards than anything else. But not just that, Wilds also suffered from a very big difficulty issue, and by difficulty, I mean there was none of it. Universally, players agreed the game leaned on the easier side, with only a set couple monsters really offering any sort of resistance against the player. But when you reached a point that you're somewhat good at playing the game, even those couple of slightly challenging monsters became complete pushovers. So we ended up in this situation where we're fighting the same two things over and over again just because they offer more rewards that we as the players didn't even need, and I'll touch on that a bit later.
So I understand what he's saying here. I think the only one that I'm running into this issue with, oddly enough, is Arkveld. Because I played the game in the beta like everybody else. So I've I've been rocking with Arkveld's fucking moveset since before the game's official launch. So due to that, I think it's fairly obvious that, when it comes to Arkveld especially, people are just gonna know how he plays. So 99% of players are going to be like, yeah, I already know this guy's moveset, super easy. Just fucking block here, roll 2 times this way, slice him up, fucking. And then I it has gotten better with like the arc tempered versions, right? But even then, like me and my brother are running into the issue where like we're having to use like pods of 4 sometimes now, which is nice, I mean, it goes to show, we can't just handle it with the two of us because we did that to literally every boss in the game. And sometimes, like, if we just got thrown into it, like, how the story just kind of takes you through a couple things and then it throws you right into a monster fight. There are several times where we just did the monster fight solo separately, and then like for the big ones like the Zoshia and stuff like that, we collabed, or Jin Dahad, like we collabed for that one, Ray Dow, right? But like for the like the not as like highly touted monsters, like the spider or the fucking the two octopus ones, what is it? Fucking New Udra and Zuwu or whatever the fuck. So, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. I do wish like some of the monsters that they added. I wish some of the monsters they added had higher rarity armors off rip. I think that'd have been a little bit better, but it is what it is.
However, if you compare Wilds today to Wilds at launch, it's not even comparable. In fact, as of time of recording, we are already much further ahead than what base Monster Hunter World and Rise were at the exact same point in their life.
I'm actually, I think it would be a cool concept if they added a new weapon class. A scythe weapon class would be fucking insane. Because like you have so many of these like weapon classes, like the dual blades, for example, has like dual axes, and it's like, all right. I mean, it's cool for aesthetics, but it's just like, why waste it? Like when they put out these games, like you have a golden opportunity to introduce something new, right? And having a new weapon class would be another reason for people to be like, man, this shit hooks.
Cycle. So many new fights have been added to the game, which
A
inherently were
scythe
way more
weapon class
difficult,
would be
but
fucking
even
nuts.
further on top of that, new difficulty tiers were added intrinsically within the game as a system on top. Effectively what this means, even the monsters that we saw as pushovers at launch can now completely kick your ass. But don't get me wrong,
True.
if you don't want to engage with the hardest content in the game, you absolutely don't need to, and you can enjoy these new interesting fights as they are at their base level. Something to work your way up to as you get through.
That shit pisses me off, by the way. Gog Mazios, when he does that stupid fucking shit, pisses me off. Because, like, I'm doing good, right? I'm cooking, and yeah, I get too comfortable, right? So I'm like, I'm hanging out right here by like the wing and the legs and shit, and I'm fucking bouncing back and forth. Okay, this part's right here. I've got a bit, doesn't really do very much for damage, but like, okay, he drops his wing leg, and then I switch over to that, and I'm doing big damage. But and then he does like this quick fucking 180 jump across the map bullshit, and then no scopes me with the goddamn fucking oil blast shit. Fuck off. Pisses me off. Gets on my goddamn nerves.
through every single piece of content in the game. But anyway, you might be thinking, Zenny, that's all good and well.
Oh yeah. Another thing I was gonna bring up about that is the best way to dodge that is to go prone. But the only way to go prone in this fucking game is to run away from the monster and then dive. Huh? Huh?
But why am I going to waste my time fighting all these cool monsters outside of doing it for the first time? And that's a great question, because once again at launch, I wouldn't really have an answer for you. And that's the reason I think most active players started to walk away from the game. But you're probably noticing the trend of this video, we are no longer in that situation. And the most recent update, Title Update 4, has only gone above and beyond. So originally, the only system we had to grind was what are known as Artian weapons. Essentially, it's a customizable weapon, but the customization
Right.
aspect of it was extremely limited. It would take you all but a couple hours for you to have a weapon that does the job you need it to. You could then strive for a god roll version, in which every single stat is rolled perfectly, but there wasn't particularly a need to do that with everything we've just discussed. But now,
I got a couple of god roll fucking Artian weapons. And then especially with the GOG now, the GOG one, the ability to look at those um boosts and be like, nah, I don't want it. And then re-roll it is insane.
everything is much different. So, in the last 8 or so years that I've been playing Monster Hunter, I have never seen this much build diversity in a base game. First off, we got RNG talismans, which are effectively a piece of equipment that can roll various different skills. At launch, you could only craft a fixed talisman with a fixed skill, but now, much like in Monster Hunter Rise, we have the potential to roll multiple different skills on one talisman, which in isolation wasn't a huge shift in the meta or way we approach the game, but it was a good step. But Title Update 4 changed everything. With the addition of the new Elder Dragon Gog Mazios, a couple new systems came along with him. First up is the Gogma Artian system. This is a system that builds on the Artian weapons I touched on briefly just now, in which we can further upgrade them to now intrinsically roll unique monster and group skills on them. If you're not too familiar with Monster Hunter, you might not know what this means. Effectively, when you're putting together your build with the various different pieces of armor sets, there are inherent set
And this is the part where it gets more controversial for people because this system essentially removes any reason for you to run a specific monster's weapon. Everything else is for aesthetics now. Now, the armor still matters at this current time, but But the weapons, useless. You just run the Gogma weapon with the ability that you want. That's it. That's where people are getting a little bit like, okay, well, what the fuck? Why the hell did I fucking spend this extra time to get the fucking Guardian Rathalos gear or the fucking Arkfeld gear or Zoshia gear or Jindahad gear when I could just run a Gogma Artian weapon and have the same ability? It just forces everybody to play the same shit, essentially.
Skills built within the pieces you need to look out for. As an example, crafting 2 or 3 pieces of the same set will then activate a background skill that tends to give the player their biggest jump in power. Of course, the downside of doing this is you also have to commit multiple armor slots to that one armor set. But now, we can just roll one of those skills on the weapon, which frees up an additional armor set piece to go for even more useful skills, or to activate a completely additional set bonus. And you know what further elaborates on this build diversity upgrade is we can now transcend older pieces of armor sets. Again, if you're unfamiliar, basically different armor in the game has different tier values attached to them.
This I thought was a big W.
The easiest way to understand this is an armor set you get early on in the game is going to be a much lower tier than something you got from the end game. Now, of course, it would only make sense that the stuff you can get from the first couple hours of the game is going to be somewhat weaker than the end game. And even so, some of these pieces do have very, very strong set bonuses attached to them. The skills they offer and the decoration slots they offer, which allows you to put additional skills in, tended to be lacking and therefore not worth sacrificing a whole piece to go for this older bonus. In a sense, the stats of using a higher tier armor piece completely outweighed the unique set bonus.
One weakness I do find in the game is that there I do think they need to roll out some more content for getting armor spheres because it does take a lot. It takes a lot, or like lower the amount that it requires to reinforce these items because it does take a lot to get these items up to par. And I do find that to be quite annoying to like trying to max out these armors is insanely annoying. Like my priority is running GOG, and that takes a little bit. And then you factor in like the average monster fight, probably anywhere from like 8 minutes to 20 minutes, depending on what kind of fight it is. If there's multiple monsters, this and that and the other, that's there. You're not going to get as much farming done in the day as like you would like to keep up with the amount of demand that all of these armor pieces require now because of this new reinforcement thing. So I do think they need to up that a little bit, have more stuff available that's maybe a bit easier to do or lower the value, um, lower the value cost of these armor pieces to reinforce them so it doesn't take as many spheres. So you can kind of get more for the time commitment.
Of the early stuff. But Capcom implemented what I see to be one of the best updates Monster Hunter's ever had. We can now transcend these older pieces of armor, upgrading them and bringing them to an endgame level. Now all of a sudden, sets that had absolutely no place in the game are completely relevant in the meta, and being as we can also activate these skills on our
Huge
weapon,
W.
the amount of different
Now I only wish that they did this with the fucking weapons. Because like sometimes I'm just not trying to fucking run a goddamn Gogma Artian weapon. I'm not saying you have to make these weapons on the same level as a Gogma Artian weapon, but you got to keep them relevant.
combinations we can achieve is truly endless. So to recap all of that, the game is much more stable, there's tons of stuff to do in the endgame, and new or returning players can experience all of the title update content that's came out since launch in one go. And once again, to make it blatantly clear, I'm not sponsored when I say this, but with the Steam Winter Sale and likely other platforms running similar game sales, Monster Hunter Wilds is currently the most affordable it's been since launch. So if anything I've said today is appealing to you, now is probably the best time to jump in, because who knows when the next time will be that the game will be on sale for this price. And just as a reminder, by the way, the previous titles like World and Rise are also extremely good places for you to start if you've never touched the game before. So if you don't want to commit to buying Wilds yet, trust me, if you go buy World and Iceborne or Rise and Sunbreak, you're going to have an equally amazing time. I saw earlier today on the Switch too, you can buy Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak as a bundle for like £8 my currency. Now if you ask me,
It's
getting anywhere
crazy.
from 100 to 2,000 hours of gameplay for £8 is a pretty
Good
damn
deal.
good deal. So yeah, do what you will with this information, always do your own research,
I wasn't a big fan of Rise and Sunbreak, but you know, I see why people like it.
make your own decisions. But my personal recommendation, if you want to get back into Monster Hunter or get into it for the first time, buy Monster Hunter Wilds on sale now. If your performance seems stable, great, continue playing Wilds. If it doesn't seem so good, refund the game on Steam, go buy Rise or World, and then try Wilds in another few months after the further optimization patches come out. In the 2 years
God, I hate that shit. That fucking lava breath bullshit pisses me off.
I've been doing YouTube, I've never made a video like this where I'm pretty much just trying to sell you the game. But honestly, this is my favourite game franchise of all time and it has so much potential to be even better. Inevitably,
True.
Wilds will have an expansion coming out probably at the end of 2026 or early 2027. So I'd
Man,
wager you have a good year to experience the franchise however you like. So you're ready to join all of us for what I imagine to be a pretty high player peak. But yeah, I think that's going to be enough yapping from me today. I'm starting to sound like a user.
so that's that for that video. And for the most part, I agree. I do think he hit it spot on the nose. Zenny, go check out his channel. Give him a sub. Give him a like. I do agree for the most part. I do agree. It's definitely come a long way. It's got a long way to go, but you know, it's on the come up, as they say. Moving on from this, now we're gonna talk shit. We're gonna talk shit. Everybody's getting shade today. Now, I am curious what this person's gonna say to talk shit about me as a Charge Blade main, and I'm actually curious to see what he's gonna say about you. So, like and subscribe. What does it say? The following is all just meant to be jokes. You know, jokes. A little ha ha he he. None of the stuff I'm about to say is sincere, except hunting horn. You can and should use literally whatever weapon you want, and if someone gives you a hard time for it, well then that person's just weird. Do not share any of your Doritos with them. Oh god.
Hi, my name is Fallout, and here's what your Monster Hunter Wilds weapon says about you. Great
Here we
sword.
go.
Hey, great sword mains. Good news. I created a custom design controller
I knew this was coming. I knew it was coming. To be fair, my my Gogma my Gogma set, what I run for running old Goggy boy is Charge Blade, a fire Charge Blade, and a Dragon Greatsword. Because on the final phase, when you're basically full dragon the whole time, I use the Greatsword because then I could just pop up right next to him, fucking go immediately into a heavy charge, and then just smash him to bits. I can't tell you how many times I've cut his fucking tail off for everybody with a fucking greatsword. Just popping in, charge up, bang. Put the greatsword away, hop on my secret, go find fucking Fabius or whatever. Or if I get caught up out there, I could just block and just chill out right where I'm at.
just for you. I really hope you like it. Hope it's not too complex. Now, I'm a little bit torn here, and not just because my great sword main wife is standing behind me as I record this with a wiffle ball bat, but because I want to give you a rough time about your silly all or nothing one trick pony DPS weapon, but at the same time, we also
Damn! Damn, he just slaughtered you guys.
shouldn't waste time arguing with each other, because if we do, who's gonna make fun of the longsword mains? Kidding aside, it
Oh,
is actually
God.
nice having
Dude, the longsword hate has gone up so much over the years, man. It's always looked at now as like the anime, the wannabe weeb weapon. Oh god. And the funny thing is, that's like my brother's weapon. That's like his go-to. His go-to is a fucking longsword. Oh god, he's such a fucking weeb.
great sword mains on the team because you know they're putting up big ass damage numbers all day. How do you know? Don't worry, you'll know because they'll tell you. Make number go big is after all their favorite game to play, and they play to
True.
win. And now that they have fun defensive tech options like power clashing, it's usually great having great sworders around, but God help you if a monster goes to sleep during a hunt and you accidentally damage it with something to wake it up before the greatsword user gets the opportunity to slam it over the head with the force of 1,000 H-bombs. They'll give you an earful like you just accidentally stepped on a homeless puppy's tail. Sword and shield. At the risk of upsetting my lord and savior Joe Cat, I feel like maining sword and shield is the Monster Hunter equivalent of telling people that your favorite flavor of ice cream is vanilla. In
That's good. That's good. I like that. Hey, this guy is creative.
Mario Party, you play Mario. When you order pizza, you only ever order plain cheese. Are any of these things
Damn.
bad? No, of course not. But good
Basic.
lord, add a little spice to your life. At the very least, there's nothing that you're absolutely terrible at, but as one of the
You know, this is the one class I think I've never played. I've never played this.
most beginner-friendly weapons in the game, you're essentially rated least likely to receive any kind of attention from Daddy Capcom. You're the middle child of the entire weapon
True.
roster. Deep down, you know it's true, but you're strangely okay with it. But hey, at least I don't have to sheath for item spam, you tell yourself. Dual blades. I say this with all the love in my heart. You are one twitchy, hyperactive SOB and all your friends know it. You're probably the type of guy who owned a fidget spinner or 12, and you
Am I secretly a dual blade player? You know what's sad? My main weapon in Monster Hunter World was dual blades. First playthrough, I played dual blades the entire time. My second playthrough, I played charge blade. I did 2 playthroughs. I did one with me and my brother, where I was dual blades the entire time, and then the second one, I did charge blades solo every single monster except for like the very, very end game ones, where you have to have a party of 4, otherwise you're just not gonna do it. Hold on. Hold on. The reason why I think he called me out here. Oddly enough, I was gonna grab a fidget spinner, but I don't know where it is. Well, hell, I just pulled it out the other day when I was like going through my closet and shit. Well, fuck.
do weird stuff with your fingers when you're bored, maybe even some flashy pen spinning moves. Some people's
True.
idea of torture is waterboarding, or some kind of stuff you'd see in a Liam Neeson movie. Your idea of torture is someone forcing you at gunpoint to use the greatsword, where your movement is so clunky and slow you'd collapse out of your gaming chair into a coma before the hunt was over. You're kind of like that kid who, when they play a fighting game for the first time, just decides they're gonna mash all the buttons instead
Most times that I ever died in the game was when I was running dual blades because I was 100% reckless the entire time.
of learning any combos. I will admit though, your weapon, while kind of silly, is flashy as hell and cool to watch. Have fun out there, dual blade guy, and remember to take it easy on the caffeine. Hammer. You looked around at all the other weapon options on the rack with their various ammo types, complex mechanics, and gauges, and you said,
True.
fuck that. I just want to swing a big mallet around. And you know what? I get it. I'd like to tell you that your weapon weapon is outperformed on paper by almost every other weapon, but that would be like trying to talk sense into a bowling ball. Why bother? At the end of the day, all it wants to do is smash down pins, and all you want to do is hit angry dinosaurs in the head with a big club. It's who you are. It's what you do.
True.
Deep down, you know that Hammer definitely is not
Sometimes
the best, but then
simpler
again, you
is
don't
better.
really care. Every time a monster comes crashing down to the pavement because you gave it a mild concussion, it sends shivers down your spine. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Hunting Horn. Look, I'm goofing around a lot right now, but let me actually speak from the heart for just 1 minute. The vast majority of hunting mains are truly actually based. And yeah, I know that some players out there are going to turn up their nose at that kind of statement. It's not fun. I don't like to play support. The DPS isn't optimal. Speedrunners don't use it. I don't care about none of that shit. You know who the hunting
Every time that I had a bad round with GOG, there was nobody there who was support. It was just 4 DPS, well, 3 DPS in that annoying longsword user, but you know, we move. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. The furthest that like the easiest time that I had, I think it was like a sub, like fucking, I think it was like a 12-minute GOG run, was Lance. It was me and a Charge Blade. There was a Hunting Horn user, and who was the fourth? Was it a Dual Blade? No, I think they were running Switch Axe. I think it was a Switch Axe user. So it was like 2 like major DPSs between me and the Switch Axe user. We were just dealing crazy damage all the time. And then you had the Hunting Horn user constantly buffing us and giving us heals. And then you had the Lance user just absolutely being a tanking monster.
Horn users are? The guy who shows up to the party with an entire cooler filled with beer without you asking him to bring anything. The friend who hears you are feeling under the
Fair.
weather and sends you homemade chicken noodle soup. The dude who hears you say you think the chick at the bar is cute, so he goes over and talks you up for 10 minutes. Hunting Horn mains are awesome. Are they crazy, flashy, and sexy? No, not really, but I'm always happy to have them around because it's going to be the most relaxed fight I'll ever have in my life, because no matter how many times the monster tries to stuff my butt into a locker, if there's a Horn main on the team, I'll be fully healed
Yes,
before I can say
exactly.
abracadabra. Thank you, Hunting Horn mains, for letting me relax and straight up have more fun in the hunt. I will listen to you play the song of your people all day. Bo,
Yes.
let me guess. Whenever you played Skyrim, you were an awesome stealth archer.
That's so funny. That's so good. What a reference.
Thwacking dumb NPC.
Most people don't even know what Skyrim is anymore because it hasn't gotten a new release in a long time. Because like we had like a good like 10-year stretch where like every couple of years they released a new edition of Skyrim, but now it's starting to fade away because there's no new editions of Skyrim.
In the face from miles away, all while giggling
Yeah, they
to
gave us
yourself like a
Oblivion
middle
instead.
schooler shooting spitballs. Old habits die
I wouldn't put it past them to put out a remastered Skyrim as well. I wouldn't put it past them.
hard, I guess. All kidding aside, I do find the bow to be a fun combat loop, and I do feel like the aesthetic of a bow and arrow fits really well into the vibe
Yeah,
of
especially
Monster
after the
Hunter,
success
unlike
of
some
Oblivion.
other ranged weapons I could mention. And even though as a melee weapon user, I often get slightly miffed at those who choose to fight at range and relatively away from point blank.
I would say an effective ranged user is nice. But the problem is, I think the problem is like if they don't know how to like go full DPS with their weapon while the rest of us are taking aggro, it really hurts. It really hurts because they're just doing like the minimal amount of damage that they could be doing when we could be melting this fucking monster. Because especially like if you got like in this video right here, Tony the fucking Lance user is taking all the fucking aggro, right? You have Cheddar in there who's jumping around as insect fucking glaive, going absolutely bonkers, also pulling aggro. This guy doing exactly what he needs to do from a ranged standpoint and absolutely DPSing the shit out of this monster. And then eventually, you know, Ray Dow's going to turn and say, like, hey, this bow user's pissing me off. And he's going to go after the bow user. Then that opens things up for these two to do massive damage and then pull the aggro back. And then he can get back into that range again and do it again. The problem is there's a lot of range people who do it because they think it's safe and they don't do it to take advantage of like the opportunistic DPS that it has.
Combat. I think bow mains are pretty based and usually fun to have around. The flashy moves, making it rain a comical amount of arrows, and of course hitting any monster with what
I will say the classes feel really good this time. They feel really good. Like each one so far that I've played has felt very fun to play.
basically amounts to a giant explosive harpoon. But for fuck's sake though, I know that the bow is easy mode with wound breaking, but save some for the rest of the team. Some of us are
True.
using weakness exploit out here. Lance, I'd say odds are pretty good that you got really tired of getting your butt tossed around the room and you decided to go back to base camp and put on the most defensive loadout you could possibly think of. Now your
True.
hunter is built like a brick shithouse, and even though your damage output has withered away like a neglected houseplant, it doesn't matter to you, because now you can basically stand there and absorb every blow like SpongeBob tanking back shots from Flats the Flounder. Even though most other hunters out there are probably yearning for teammates rocking more DPS heavy options, I'll always get a kick out of having Lance mains on the team for the sole reason that watching them turn into a mini choo-choo train and run full steam ahead is one of the funniest things in the game. Gun Lance. Somehow, I don't think there's much mystery going
Oh my god. This is the one that I'm going to try out today.
on here. You like explosions, plain and simple. It's not that you dislike melee combat, that's all well and good, but you probably saw a clip of someone point blanking some helpless monster right in the face with a full-powered Wyvern Fire Blast and thought, yeah, that. I want to do that. Optimal DPS? Sure, some of you may care about that, but the vast majority of you just want to make things go boom. That or option B. You maybe looked up some weapon tier list from a few content creators because you wanted to know what was truly meta, noticed that many of them put Gun Lance up at the top, and here you are. And hey, if that's you,
Fair.
it is what it is. Go do your thing. Just watch where you're aiming that Wyvern Fire, big guy. Don't singe my eyebrows off or we're gonna have a problem. Switch Axe. I gotta be honest, almost every Switch Axe main I know is an absolute demon at Monster Hunter. A crazy endgame level grinder with a bunch of knowledge about
You have to be. To be fair. I think when it comes to vulnerabilities, I think Switch Axe is probably you can get caught pretty easily trying to get that set up for that big payoff with Switch Axe. It's like Charge Blade, like I have the ability to pull myself out of a combo easy and then put my shield up and guard if I need to in an instant, right? But Switch Axe, like when you commit, you're all in. You're all in. I remember trying to run Switch Axe in Monster Hunter World, and it felt wrong, just because I didn't know how to time my combos, so like I would keep getting caught off. I think like the one that like really like fucked me up was Anjanath, because Anjanath was so fucking aggressive. So like I would go to like start teeing off and into my combo, and I would be on like the second part of the combo, and then he would just fuck me up.
the game and a ride or die, what do you need to hunt, I'm here to help mentality. Unfortunately, you're also maybe a little bit of a know-it-all. And not only that, for some reason, you're basically in non-stop recruit mode trying to get all your online homies to just please try the Switch Axe once. You're like that guy at a party pushing other people to just try X.
You see how long these swings take? Are you seeing? So if you have a hyper aggressive monster, this gets fucked up every time. Probably I would say the one in this game is probably like Gore Magala. If Gore Magala's aggro's on you as a Switch Axe main, you're not getting your combos off. He's fucking you off. But to be fair, that pretty much goes for everybody, unless you're a fucking Lance user, because then you're just standing there, just tanking everything it's got.
to see because you swear they'll love it. Ease up off me, Switch Axe guy. I'll have fun doing my thing, and you go ahead and have fun trying to turn every hunt into a contest of who can get the most offsets. Charge Blade. There's a 99%
Oh boy, here we go. Am I gonna get triggered? Let's find out.
chance that you're the kind of gamer that puts one thing above all else, being optimal. I'm willing to bet my life that you settled
Fair.
on ye old Charge Blade via one of two scenarios. You either saw a Charge Blade speedrun on YouTube and said, hell yeah, or you saw this
Nope.
weapon had more bells and whistles than a Swiss Army knife and immediately knew it was going to be the best way to prove to your friend group that you are truly a 500 IQ gamer capable of taming such a complex beast. In reality, though, your weapon, while admittedly badass, isn't that complicated once you put in a little bit of time learning it, and we all know you, like the vast majority of other Charge Blade users, aren't really in the speedrunner level of gameplay. You just really, really like it when pizza cutter go burr. Sure.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna change Charge Blade main to Pizza Cutter main from now on, and I'm also a speedrunner wannabe. Fuck's sake. To be fair, not saying I'm that guy, but Monster Hunter World, when I ran Charge Blade, I melted every monster I came across. Absolutely melted.
You probably go hard in the damage department, but you probably also go hard in the getting carded department too, because half the time you forget your weapon actually has a freaking shield. Insect Glaive. Sadly, many insect
Hey, he's not wrong, man. There's so many times where, like, when I'm first learning a monster's moveset, I get caught because I'm fucking overcommitting. He's so right, man. He's so right.
glaive users are afflicted with a rare medical condition known
Reckless
as
abandon.
allergic to the floor. I kid, but yeah, you definitely played in the grass with bugs at recess, and it shows. More of an observation than an insult, of course, as insect glaive users I find are usually chill and interesting people to be around. Just like your little flying friend, you personally believe gravity to be kinda cringe and will always go out of your way to try and pull off some high-flying acrobatic bullshit and show off your stripper pole moves whenever you can. And look,
Stripper
I know
pole
most of the
moves.
glaive mains out there like to have fun, but when you're getting swatted out of the air like a fly every 5 seconds, maybe you should at least consider changing up your game plan a wee bit. And also, I know you don't want
True.
to hear this, but quit greeding wounds the second you see red appear on the monster. Yeah, we know you got those Kinsect buffs to worry about, but some of us need those too, you know. Heavy bowgun.
Yeah, I do find that to be annoying that the easiest activation for Charge Blade to go fucking Pizza Blade mode is destroying a wound. I think that's so annoying because if you're if you're in with another fucking person who is like overly aggressive about breaking wounds, then you essentially just you don't even have a chance to go full out. Like it's so fucking annoying.
I'm willing to bet a sizable chunk of money that when you were first looking through all the weapons in the game, none of them made you really feel anything until you saw the heavy bowgun. As a matter of fact, I'd like to think that you probably said something along the lines of, wait, you can just shoot them with a fucking gun? And from that moment on, you were hooked. If you ever played any of the
Yep.
Halo games, you were 100%
This is the America playthrough.
the guy to go, I call machine gun when jumping into the Warthog. In Space Marines 2, you played the heavy. Yeah, you get the idea. Far be it from
True.
me to criticize the guy who basically wants to shoot dinosaurs with a big minigun. Lord knows I was always a fan of Turok. Just remember to tip your hat every now and then to the melee fighters who are up at the front line tanking all the aggro while you safely hold down R2 from half a mile away. Light bowgun. So,
That's fucking hilarious.
you liked the idea of your weapon going pew pew pew, but when you tried out the heavy bowgun, it felt like you were running waist deep through a field of mashed potatoes. So you went back to the drawing board, tried out the light bowgun, and here you are. I gotta be real, I feel like I barely actually know anyone who truly mains the light bowgun. You are extremely rare, like Bigfoot or a good movie starring Gal Gadot. Keep
Damn. Why the shots?
doing your thing, you silly little running gunner. Long sword. Oh boy, a long
Oh, here we go. Of course he saved this for the end. This person's smart. He knows what he's doing.
sword main in the year of our Lord 2025, huh?
Daring today, aren't we?
Look, man, I know you want to deal big boy damage, but Charge Blade and Great Sword ain't that complicated. Maybe if you took a few minutes to pry yourself away from your ever-growing pile of manga that's probably dirtier than Asmongold's
I
a few minutes to pry yourself away from your ever-growing pile of manga that's probably dirtier than Asmongold's kitchen sink, you'd be
Oh man, not the Asmon shots, bro. Oh, he's not wrong though. He's not wrong.
able to learn a weapon that might lead to a new experience for you. You know, respect from other players. I'm mostly kidding, of course. Even though you're rocking the most basic
I like how he says mostly kidding. When the other ones, he's like, it's all jokes. It's all jokes. And this one, he's like, mostly kidding.
unoriginal weave magnet weapon in the entire roster, look on the bright side. Your weapon is actually disgusting
true.
on paper and also basically
Disgusting on paper. Details matter.
Capcom's openly favorite child, so the risk factor of your precious baby getting nerfed is lower than the effort it takes to execute your ridiculous 2-button DPS combo. Got anything else to add? Let me know
True.
down in the comment section.
This hammer shit that they added for this is so good. The fucking just fucking spinning. Oh my god, the memes are so good about it.
And again, reminder, all for funsies, please remember to use whatever you like. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.
This was good. I enjoyed this video, man. The random shots in there too, sprinkled in. Very nice. Go check out his channel, Fallout Plays, man. Give him a sub, give him a like. That shit was hilarious. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that a lot. But now, he gave his hot takes. It's time for me to give mine. All right. All right, let's get this set up. Okay. Top tier. We're going to do top tier fight. Great fight. Decent. Decent fight. Meh. I sleep. I sleep. So, we're gonna get into this. It's gonna be fucking crazy. Presentation mode. It is time. We've been going over all sorts of shit, right? So, to air out my grievances. Now, a lot of you are probably going to think this is a hot take. But like I said before, this is the worst thing that they could have added into the game. One of the worst from the Final Fantasy franchise. You could have had this. I want to remind you. We're just going right in with the hot takes. We could have had this. You know how cool that storyline would have been if you would have been running around with fucking Clive, and then in the end, he is the fucking monster? You know how fucking nuts that storyline would be? It's fucking nuts. It's insane. We could have had this. But instead, we got a fucking robot. So, one of the worst collaborations ever, in my opinion. We're just going to get that one out of the way. Not a fan. All right, starting off with the Ajarakan. Ajarakan, I actually think this is a great fight. My favorite thing is when he goes full Beyblade mode. I think that's such a sick, random mechanic. So I'm gonna give him great. Next, we have Arc Veldy Boy. I'm gonna give him decent. Now, a lot of people are probably gonna put him up in great or top tier. I'm gonna put him in decent. The reason why is because I've been playing since the beta. Regular Arkfeld is just not attractive to me as a fight anymore. just because I know his moveset so well already that it's just like, okay, I know exactly what to do, when to do it, when to get high DPS, when to put him in a fucking stun state constantly, so then he just doesn't do anything, right? So it just makes him irrelevant. That's just how it is. Just how it is. Right? He's a decent fight now. Like, if you're really, like, if I was sleeping on him, he would 100% catch me, for sure. But that's it. Balahara, pretty meh. Pretty meh. Nothing crazy there. Nothing crazy. I don't remember this fucking monkey's name. I'm gonna be honest. But I thought he was a decent fight. I thought he was okay. Nothing too crazy about that. Same thing with this thing. I don't remember this fucking thing's name either. This little toad, whatever the fuck it is, frog. But that's a meh. I mean, he's like your literal first boss that you fight in the game, so it's not like he was like expected to be like Raid Owl by any means. But you know, for an entry level boss, I think he's good. I think he's good. But for anything after that, nah. This thing might be a hot take. I sleep. Even in his best case, I could see meh. That's it, though. That's it. I really don't care for that boss at all. The Doshagama. Alpha Doshagama. I thought he was a decent fight. I don't know. The weird mechanic of having to like separate him from his posse is kind of annoying. When like himself doesn't really put up that crazy of a fight. But I don't know. It is what it is. Now, base Gore Magalaga Baga Boy. Top tier. Top tier. I think this is the one that gave most people the hardest challenge in the beginning of the game. Was or toward the later end of the game was Gore Magala. Gore Magala was fucking people up. Gravios, decent. He's decent. Nothing too crazy. He's pretty easily beatable. And now we have Guardian Arkveld. I'll put that up in great. Guardian Arkveld. He is a bit of an upgrade on regular Arkveld. What do we got? Guardian Doshagama, I also think is an upgrade. And then what do we got here? This is the Guardian fucking what the hell's the stupid thing's name? Whatever it is. Guardian, whatever it is. Thought it was pretty I'll put it top of decent. Yeah, I'll organize these at the end and we'll get a full on like proper tier list. I do like Anjanath. I always like Anjanath. I think he's a great fight. Now, is this supposed to be the Guardian Rathalos? Yeah, it is. Okay. Guardian Rathalos. He's decent. We've all been fighting the Rathian and Rathaloses for I don't know how long now. So they're pretty easy to just flashbang it out of the sky, then beat the shit out of it, and then it flies up again, and then you flashbang it again, and then you beat the shit out of it. It's really not that difficult anymore. Obviously, the big one, the one that everybody's been talking about, Gogma boy. He's gonna be at the top of top tier. I mean, let's be honest. This fucking bird thing I don't remember the name of is meh. It's so meh. Same thing with these things. They're fucking meh. Jin Dahad. Jin Dahad's a great fight. It's got some good fucking concepts going for it, but it also kind of misses in some places. Like the weird like free damage thing where it like goes up onto the pillar just for you to pull the pillar out from underneath of it and then it falls. Like it's kind of like okay. All right. This thing I can't remember the name of either. Decent. It's decent. Not that impressed. The underwater mechanic thing was pretty good. But outside of that, because like there's there's a 2-part fight with the Rathalos and this thing, and is okay. Is all right. Outside of the water, not very impressive. Lalabarina, I really like Lalabarina. I do think that there needs to be a much harder version of this fight for people to do, because Lalabarina's set too is fucking, oh, chef's kiss to that. Mizutsune. It's a pretty good fight. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not bad. What was this one? Narcilla? Is that what it's called? He's decent. He's all right. Yeah, it's some decent mechanics going for it. I much more preferred the Lalabarina fight. Although I do think the Lalabarina fight is easier than the Narcilla fight. But yeah, it is what it is. Now, I don't know which one this is. Which one is this? There's a Zuwu, and then which one's the Zuwu, and which one's the other one? I don't know. But the octopus ones, they play fairly similar for the most part. I thought we'll just put them both here. We'll just get them out of the way. We'll put them both there. I thought they were both decent. Now the upgraded version, I think, is a lot better. It's a bit more challenging, but other than that, you know, I can't put it up in top tier. It's really just not at that level. Fire Chicken, I thought Fire Chicken was decent. I thought Fire Chicken was a decent fight. It's nothing too hard, but you know, it was pretty much more enjoyable than anything else. Rathalos, I sleep. Rathian, I also sleep. I've been fighting these guys since OG days, so it's like, bro, like, you lost before we started. I scouted you, bro. I've been scouting you. Ray Dow, I thought was a pretty great fight. Base Ray Dow. This Ray Dow is a much better fight. I think it takes a lot more like preparedness to be able to take on this Ray Dow than base Ray Dow. Base Ray Dow, once you know his moveset, he does tend to become pretty easy to learn. Like, his moveset is basically the same, but because he hits a lot harder in this one, it does make it more difficult to hang in there when taking the same attacks than before, unless you're a lance user and you just tank everything. So, oh boy, this Papa Pipolo thing. I can't remember the name of this thing. Is that what it's called? I can't remember. Meh. It's so meh to me. Same thing with this fucking guy. I can't remember his name either. Just not relevant to me. Uthduna, I thought was absolute eye sleep. I sleep. This Uthduna, garbage. This Uthduna, top tier. Why this Uthduna is so fucking brutal pisses me off. I can't tell you how many times I got fucked up initially from this goddamn Uthduna. It was so embarrassing. Same thing with that thing. It's a meh fight to me. It's whatever. Zoshia, obviously top tier fight. I like the Zoshia fight. I thought it was very interesting. So, moving this stuff around a little bit. Let's see. Obviously, we're going to have our boy Gog. He's going to be up at the top. I think, honestly, I'll put Zoshia right there. Put Uth right there. Yeah, I like that. I like that. What do we got here? Jindahad, I think, is top of great for me. And then I think it'll be Guardian Arkveld over Ray Dow. The rest of these, I'm pretty... Move Lalabarina down and move this thing up. Yeah, I like that. I like that. New Udra. That's what the other one is. So it's New Udra in Zuwu, right? Yeah. We'll move Arkveld, top of decent. I think that's fair. The rest of these, I don't really care what order they're in, because like they're all about the same for me as far as like what I get out of the fight. none of them really like the rest of these. I just don't really care, if I'm being honest. So that is it. That is my official monster list up to the current released monster, Old Dog Mazios. So, call it a hot take. Don't call it a hot take. I will put a link to this tier in the comments, or not in the comments, in the description. Feel free to make one yourself and tag me on X, and maybe I'll do like a reaction video of other people's lists. But yeah, for the most part, I think it's pretty accurate. I think when we get some more like Arc-tempered versions of some of these monsters, I think they'll go up the list. But for now, I think they're okay. They're all right where they're at. But that's it for that. Moving on to the final video. This is from a little while ago. This is from a month ago. This is Arknight, one of the most prolific players and supporters of Monster Hunter Wilds, responding to the blowback from people who have been pushing this anti-Monster Hunter Wild sentiment. So, let's get into it.
Sponsored by War this video because you are not going to have a good time. It's been 8 months since Wilds released, and I thought that logically, this would have had been more than enough time to separate the people that like the game from the people that don't. But I guess I'm naive, because it
a lot of
seems
people
like
jumped
the
on the hate
algorithm
train.
on every single social media platform is pushing you towards drama and shit that you probably don't even care about. And as a result from that, it seems like there's a lot of brainlets out there that decide to actively follow and stick to the things that they claim to hate, but they're always there whenever there's an update. They're always there to talk about it. Maybe I'm just suffering from employment and, you know, a purpose in life, but I think that when you actively stick to things that you don't like and that are negative influences on you, you're just wasting your time because
Bro, that is everybody on Reddit and Twitter. More people need to hear this, because like you see so many people who are just actively going after things that make them mentally unstable. It is so insane to me. Like they have to go out of their way to make themselves miserable every day, and it's just like, how do you live that way? Like I live the opposite way. Like the only time that I get into the nitty gritty shit is when I have to.
you could be doing things that are better for you. And that is so especially the case when it comes to video games, because it's video games. It ain't that deep. Like, dude, if I don't
Yeah.
follow any political channels or any drama channels and that shit gets pushed to me every day, yet I still ignore it, then it should be incredibly easy to do the same thing for video games, because it's
You would think, but the part you're not factoring in is you're a logical person. You have common sense. You're a grounded, humble individual. You're down to earth, as they say. They aren't. Those motherfuckers are in the stratosphere.
a fucking toy. Listen, I know there's video games and some of them can be masterpieces that connect with you emotionally and whatnot, but like at the end of the day, when you don't like a video game, it ain't that deep. You can just
That was Cyberpunk for me. Cyberpunk 2077 left a permanent mark on my soul. I bought the game and it was an absolute dumpster fire. So after waiting and waiting and waiting and then finally doing a full playthrough, I was just put to the fucking floor with how good that game was. And I was 100%, what do they call that? I was 100% parasocial, like, as far as like how I felt about the game. Like, I wasn't running around like defending it and fucking causing a bunch of drama or anything like that. But I was 100% like, oh, this is one of the greatest games of all time. Like, I just fucking, man, if it came up in conversation, I was a defender. That's for sure. And I was like, yeah, it was bad on launch, and I can acknowledge these things as somebody who played with those goddamn N64 graphics. People's faces floating off and shit, and fucking NPCs just fucking glitching through shit. It was bad, man. What a fucking mess. But to see it become what it is now is what a journey. What a journey. And I know like No Man's Sky players are going through that right now, where the state of the game is so much better. Same thing with what's that other game? That kind of Souls like ish, like boss fighty fucking game. God damn it, what is it called? I don't know. I'll think of it later. I literally see it in my fucking brain, but I can't think of the name.
Not interact with it at all. It's been more than long enough to establish that Wilds does not have stable, optimized performance on PC. It's been more than enough
True.
time for us to all know that this is just a fact. And it's sad that it's been so long after the game released and we still have to wait for December in Title Update 4 to see major improvements. This ain't no excuse for the performance problems. They should be ashamed at the stage that the game released in, because it was pushed to make the financial year for 2024 look good in terms of sales. It's that fucking simple.
Right.
No, this isn't the devs' fault in my opinion. It is the fault of the financial people behind fucking Capcom. I've said this in every stream, in every video. I never recommend anyone to buy this game on PC unless they have a very strong PC. And it really amazes me that some people still just want to be out here calling me a shill, because it just doesn't make sense to me, and it doesn't offend me really. It's just that you're insulting me the wrong way. Like, dude, if you see one of my videos and you want to insult me, you can just say that my gameplay's trash, because it is, and you can also just call me pathetic for liking waifus. That's absolutely fine. Go for it, dude. Those are the right angles to attack me. Because here's the thing, buddy. A shill is an accomplice of a trickster or swindler who poses as a genuine customer to entice or encourage others. In other words, for me to be a shill, I would have to not actually be enjoying Wilds, but the problem is that I do. How the fuck else would I
Fair.
have 500 hours in the game so far?
It is a good game. It is a really good game. I'm actually curious. Hold on. How many hours do I have in a game? I'm gonna open up Steam right now. I want to see how many hours I'm at. So I've been running GOG quite a lot. So buh, 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 buh. Monster Hunter Wilds. I got 128 hours into the game. Right there. 128. I don't know if you guys can see that well, because it like fucking blew up when I put it on this monitor, but yeah. I've been enjoying it. It's
You know
been a
what
good
else
game.
I enjoy? War Thunder. Oh, and they're sponsoring today's video too. I have go into the comments and calling me a shill. Just go ahead and call me Capcom's bitch. Say that Ark is on his knees for Daddy Ryozo to release Monster Hunter slop straight into his lips.
I do think that the collaborations have left a lot to be desired, and this is a point that I'll harp on to the end of time. It's just they weren't that attractive, right? I think they should have. I think they need to shoot for more popular collaborations and figure out how to fit them into the Monster Hunter world. Because like one of the biggest problems with Monster Hunter is that like the story like leaves a bit to be desired. For those who care about story, Monster Hunter is not really your game, right? Like this is more of the jump into the fight, beat the boss, and then wear it as a suit of armor game. Like that's the loop. That's it. So it's not really a narrative heavy game, but when you have these collaborations, you have a chance to broaden your spectrum by making a unique experience, right? So that's why I keep bringing up like Clive and the fucking fact that you could have been fighting this fucking massive fucking dragon demon boy thing. Like that would have been an insane fucking story. That would have been a fresh new take on something that already is established, right? Rather than the Final Fantasy 14 or whatever their stupid multiplayer fucking bullshit is, where like, yeah, you trade mounts and then they get the flagship monster and we just get this fucking robot thing that is supposed to be like really cool, but if you're not a big Final Fantasy person, like nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck. They're just like, oh, it's a robot thing. Like, come on, man. I don't know. I just found it like so weird. It was just so weird to me.
Like, that will make more sense. And bet your ass I'm gonna support you when you say that, because you're right. I am Capcom's bitch when it comes to Monster Hunter, because I just love the series. I love every Monster Hunter game that I've played. You could even go and call me Team Cherry's hoe or From Software's hoe, because as long as they're unloading those juicy loads of games, I'm gonna be doing tricks on it, trust me. And again, this raises the point, why are some of you guys continuously coming back to the videos to just fucking go into the comments and try to pick an argument and like your own comment? You guys think I don't see you commenting 7 to 10 times on like 4 different videos and liking your own comments? Like, dude, I see this shit. I can literally
I'll tell you why. They're retarded. Problem solved.
click a button and see all of the comments you've made on my channel. And this is even weirder when you take into consideration that some of my most popular videos are all criticizing Monster Hunter games outside of Wilds as well as Wilds. It's just like, what? Are you doing your research? Like, brother, come on.
People will look at it as hypocritical, especially if like you're branching out to new audiences, even within like the spectrum of Monster Hunter, and the only context they know of you is the absolute glaze fest that you gave them in one video, and then all of a sudden they see a video of you criticizing them. It's going to come off to them as hypocritical, even though like really it's just you being honest. Like at this, the state of the game at this time was awful. The state of the game at this time is great. And things can change, but people don't like change and people don't want to accept change, and they get stuck in this fucking loop of bullshit. And it's really it's a retard's way of life. That's what it is. People are just retarded.
It takes like 3 clicks to see what my most popular videos are. It's not an in-depth amount of research you gotta do here. But again, I ask you, why the fuck are you watching content for a video game that you don't like after 8 months of it being released?
You know, how much you want to bet if you fucking hacked into their account and you figured out what their GT was and fucking went to their account on Steam or fucking Xbox or PlayStation or wherever they're at, guarantee you they have 200 plus hours. Guarantee you.
Let me put aside the whole shtick
Or at least 100 plus.
of like, you know, me trying to be a little clown and make funny words and say swear words and all that stuff. Let me be a genuine
With their last login 5 hours ago.
friend to you, okay, and give you some good advice here. Just ignore me. Don't watch my videos. You're not going to enjoy yourself, dude. If seeing me and my viewers and my
Again, he's
community
taking a
have good
logical
time
approach.
with a
You can't
game
do that
you
with these
claim
people.
to be unenjoyable, make you, you know, go into a sour mood, then why waste your time? I'm not worth it. You could be doing something
those
better. You
basic
could be
ass
playing
secrets.
another video game that makes you have fun. What people have to realize is that a lot of the times we become so incredibly addicted to misery, and we don't even realize it until we remove ourselves from the environment that causes us to be so miserable. Again, let me extend another olive branch to you here. I used to play League of Legends for about 7 years, and I'm gonna tell you that maybe after 3 years after playing the game and getting into ranked, I was so fucking miserable playing that game. And yet you
Sometimes you just get stuck in the loop. I think this happens with League of Legends, with WoW, with fucking Diablo, where you just get stuck into these games, like gotcha games, right? Genshin Impact. You just get stuck into these games and it just fucking takes over. And it's in a way it's like an addiction. You just get addicted to that feeling, right? And it's bad. But all it takes is an Elden Ring. That's all it takes is a Monster Hunter Wilds. All it takes is a Black Myth Wukong type of game to completely subvert your reality, because it makes you play something else because it is so good it can't be avoided. And then once you break that loop, you break that cycle, it's so much easier just to walk away from it and be like, why the fuck would I play that? It was so miserable when I could be playing fucking Elden Ring and get that same feeling, but have an amazing time the entire time.
You would see me log in almost every day or like every other day, and I would be going to every update, to every cinematic, and I'd be always so hateful around it. Ooh, this buff to this character is bullshit. Ooh, these players on these roles are bullshit. I would be a little rage goblin, always jumping on whatever
Rage
was next
goblin.
coming out about this game to be a miserable cunt. And while that is mainly because of the League of Legends community being the worst community in all of gaming, it was also because I
Damn.
was just stubborn and refused to just disassociate from the thing that was making me so miserable. But then I grew
True.
up, I uninstalled the game, I didn't go back, I just invested myself back into my main passion for games, which is like from software games, you know, the Soul series. I got really into Monster Hunter and started this
Hell
channel.
yeah.
I made something productive when I quit the thing that was making me miserable. And I'm
W
asking
choice.
you that if Monster Hunter Wilds is that catalyst for you, then just drop it completely. You are addicted to what's making you miserable, so just leave. Make it easier on yourself, dude. You don't gotta go through this. Cause I'm gonna be real, when I see someone needlessly raging in my comment section, my first thought is to reply to them, rage bait them, and farm them for more interaction on my videos. Now, for the people that blame me for buying the game and playing the game and enjoying the game whilst knowing that these problems are active, let me tell you something. I work a full 9-to-5 full-time office job, just like your average person, and I also own 25% of a business. No, that's not YouTube. It's a completely separate thing in real life, which I'm not going to mention too much in detail. I don't have that much free time, so when I'm gaming, I will really be picky about the games that I'm playing because I want that free time to be enjoyable. I don't want to go back to that
True.
League phase where I was miserable every day.
I agree.
No. I want to be very selective and have fun with the video games that I'm playing. And Wilds is one of those games, has always been since release. Whether I'm hunting solo or with my friends now that the difficulty of the game has matched my preference, I'm always enjoying Wilds, you know? But that doesn't mean that I don't see its flaws. And as a content creator, I've done more disservice to Wilds than a fucking, you know, marketing campaign, if you will. Like, dude, again, most of my popular videos are critiques towards the series. I don't think the devs and the team are very happy at the fact that they, you know, look at me and all I do is bitch about the game. But here's the thing, when you grow up and that brain of yours develops enough gray matter so you can be functional, you will understand that you can love something while it still is flawed. Whenever someone turns to me
True.
and asks, Ark, should I get into Monster Hunter Wild? Should I buy the game? I ask them two questions. One is, which platform are you intending to play? Because I have the game on console as well, and I have had no issues with it whatsoever. Two, if you're getting a PC, what kind of PC do you have? If their PC has like a 30 series, you know, GPU, or if their CPU is like an i7 that is below mine, I never recommend people get the game. Because the chances are these performance issues are going to affect their experience, and if anything, I tell people, hey dude, just wait until the game is fully out, like in 2 years time or something, or just buy yourself a better computer, which is not the answer that you should really be pointing out to people. Saying just get a better PC isn't exactly the way to go either, but you know, what else am I supposed to say? Let's make a little fun analogy here. Imagine I'm a regular customer at a popular restaurant in town. Now this restaurant comes out with a new dish, and this dish is very spicy. I just so happen to tolerate the spicy food, but I have a friend that absolutely doesn't. This friend of mine wants to go to dinner. They ask us if we should go to this new place to have this new dish, and I turn around and I'm like, listen dude, you're not gonna like it, let's not go there, let's go somewhere else. Am I helping the restaurant staff's business by redirecting a potential customer elsewhere? No, not at all. So I don't really agree with the claim that it is my fault that the game has performance issues because I'm okay with playing it as it launches. I don't think that's true at all. Just like I don't think it's
True.
people's fault if they can't afford a better PC and have other priorities in life. I just don't get the logic. So for those of you who put the blame on people like me that play the game and make videos on it, I want to ask you this question. Am I really the one to blame, or is it the people that run the financials, you know, behind the scenes in Capcom that rush the game and rush the devs so that it can release and make the last financial quarter of 2024 look good? And am I
It's 100% a shareholder fault here. Forcing these timelines on the development of video games has been nothing but a detriment to these games. Now, that's not saying that these people haven't been shooting themselves in the foot with poor optimization of their overall workforce, right? Because you look at Ubisoft as an example, they had both time, they had resources, and they had fucking buku amounts of money to be able to make a good Assassin's Creed. And instead, we got fucking slop with one of the worst DLC collaborations of all fucking time, by the way. I mean, do I have to go show you guys the fucking the cutscene for for the AOT fucking collaboration? Hold on. I wonder if you can even find this on YouTube anymore. Assassin's Creed Shadows. Attack on Titan. This was actually so bad, bro.
You must be Goudwin. To be beaten and chained like this, you must be a dangerous man indeed, like a sword in its sheath.
Look what they've done to you.
Ada. Of course nothing could stop you from coming for me.
I wouldn't have had to come for you if you weren't so naive. I told you about Albrecht.
Look how fucking bad that is. I can't watch any more of that. That's how fucking it's so bad. It's
Today's
so
video
bad.
is sponsored.
But that's the world that we live in, you know?
Time when I see people bitching about performance in time. Actually, hold on, dial it back. I thought I was gonna wrap up the video. I completely forgot. There's another thing that I want to talk about, which is the people that say that
Oh,
this game
shit.
has no content, and to that, are you fucking dumb? Real talk, homie, do you have a couple of extra chromosomes in there? Because you can't do 2 + 2 in here? It's that too difficult for you? Okay, let's dial it back. Dead ass. Do you actually think that Wilds has no content for you to do?
For a while, I would agree with that sentiment. The only thing we got was Omega here, and it was very lackluster, very unimpressive. And then there was farming the same fucking Artian weapon, but just trying to get, you know, the best roll possible. I mean, I guess you could run into the Arkveld loop or the Raydal loop, so you can get like armor spheres and shit, and kind of get prepared for the later stuff that's gonna drop. But for a good span there was basically nothing to do. If you stuck with the game, there was nothing to do. So I can agree with that sentiment a little bit. Now for sure there's plenty plenty of stuff to do. But at that time, it was absolutely a fucking dead game. That's when it lost all its player base for the most part and basically went down to Monster Hunter World numbers, which is insane. But yeah, I think now it is in a much better state of play. There's so much more to do, and the end game feels a lot better versus, you know, the fucking the stupid loop of fighting the same Arkfeld, fighting the same fucking Raydal, so you can get stuff to then have to go farm them again because they didn't give you enough stuff because you have to use what is it 20 heavy armor spheres to max out one piece of armor. That's actually insane, by the way, especially with the reinforcement system now.
Because this is the base game with the most amount of endgame systems I've ever seen in any Monster Hunter game. There is the argument that you don't like them, and therefore you just don't think that they're worth your time, but the fact that there isn't anything to do in the endgame is completely wrong. Dude, I don't really like too much RNG in a game, and I honestly do not like the Artian weapon system at all. I don't like it. I think maybe an augmentation system would have been better where you use Artian parts on the monster weapons, but this whole gacha system where you have to roll for a weapon and pray to fucking RNGesus that you get a good roll is not my vibe. I don't fuck with it at all. But I've honestly been known for having some pretty big issues with RNG and decos and talismans, and fucking what do you know? In Wilds, I don't have a single problem with it. And that's because you just do the quest and you get the reward, and even if the reward isn't like a rarity 8 charm or talisman, whatever you want to call it, you can get a talisman that is rarity 6 and it's still gonna be pretty damn good. And honestly, it's been fucking fun to hop on with a couple friends off stream and off content to just be like, let's do this hunt, let's see what we get, and, you know, either laugh at the funny charm that you got that is useless, or just be like, oh my god, I got a god roll. But I'll wrap up the video for real now because I've said what I wanted to say. I am no longer being apologetic about enjoying this game. It's been long enough. People should
True.
very well know where they're placed now. So if I
Like it or hate it, it is what it is. But right now, it is a great game to play. But that is going to do it for this exclusive, not exclusive, this one time for now only Monster Hunter Wilds episode of the patch notes, because we are done with updates for now until the major expansion comes out. We might get a small thing here or there, but there is nothing major coming out anytime soon. So go to Arknight's channel, give him a sub, give him a like. Fantastic video. Jesus Christ. I'm just recovering from having a fucking fever. So all this talking has my fucking throat sore as fuck. So I'm going to get the fuck out of here and get me a lozenge, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Till then, later. Peace.